F310/F510. I'll explain that later. Now, I've had this gamepad for roughly more than 6 years, and I thought, you know, let me go look on Amazon to see if it's still being sold, because it was made in 2004. And to my shocking surprise, I saw that this gamepad was one of the top listings on Amazon. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make a video just saying my experience. So let me first explain why I think this gamepad is still one of the top listings on Amazon. And I think it has to do with this little simple switch back here. Can you see it? Now, I'm not gonna get technical about it, but what that switch basically allows you to use this gamepad on consoles like the PS1, the PS2, and yes, even the PS3, but not on the PS4 for some reason. And it also allows you to use it on the Xbox 360 and on the Xbox One, which is awesome. And I think that's why mainly a lot of people like this controller, because it has so much support. And yes, definitely PC games, you can play it on any PC game that allows you to use controllers on their games. So earlier I said this is the Logitech F310/F510. Well, for those of you who already own a controller like this, you'd probably be like, what is this guy talking about? Well, look at the back. The back, the label says F310. But actually, the front face only is the face of the F510. So this is a combination of two gamepads. And what happened was, I first bought the F510, and this is one thing that I want to warn everybody about. If you have this controller, if you're planning on buying it, if you drop it on this button, if you drop it, you know, everybody drops gamepads. It just happens. But if it lands on this button, you hear that clicking sound. Yeah, that will just go away for some reason. And if you continue to drop it, it won't work anymore. You won't be able to use that button anymore. That's what happened with my F510. So after that happened, I bought the F310, you know, the cheaper version, and the same thing happened. So yeah, I ended up using the face of the F510 and combined it with my F310 because something inside broke and I couldn't fix it. And that's why you see there's a little screw there. I had to replace a little pin that broke inside of the controller with that little screw. So I'm gonna open it up so you guys can actually see what I'm saying. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so let me open this up. You gotta keep this upside down or all the buttons is going to fall out. Okay, and there we go. But this is the face of the F510, and okay, let me show you guys. Yeah, the F510, the difference between the F510 and the F310 is this one, the F510 has vibration and it has a vibration button, but the F310, which is this one, doesn't have vibration. You guys can see there's no rumble pads, no machines in there. I tried to connect some just out of curiosity. It didn't work. But anyway, so I want you guys to take a closer look at this little pin here. There's a small little pin here. It's I kind of used a soldering iron to push the plastic, to melt it, push the plastic up against that pin. But that pin over there, that's the only pin that keeps this button from pushing all the way back or too far back. The only pin. And as you guys can see there, it's already starting to crack. And that's what happens. If you drop this controller on this button, it completely breaks that pin off. And what happens in turn, this switch on this board here gets pushed back also. It also damages the switch. Look at both of these. As you guys can see, this one is slightly back and this one is still pretty good. And this one is like kind of pushed back. So my F510, this one, I think one of these two went too far back. It got pushed too far back and got disconnected. So the controller was completely useless. And look what I did on the other side. Yeah, I think it was this one that went too far back on the F510. I had to nail a screw in here because the pin broke off and there was nothing I could do to put there to keep the button from going too far back. So I did a kind of DIY kind of thing. As you guys can see, I first made a hole in there, and yeah, that was not the right spot, but the second hole I got it in the right place, and that works. I mean, it looks kind of, you know, raggedy, but yeah, it worked. And yeah, so that's basically the only thing that that might be an issue when you drop this controller. But other than that, everything worked fine. It's just that little button. So guys, I think that's about it. If you want your gamepad to last as long as mine did, don't drop it. And if you do, you're gonna have to try and fix it like I did. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button.